Yo, what's up everyone? Eddie here, live from the spot. Listen, I am actually happy randomly shooting this piece of video because now have the chance to finally talk about my full thoughts about both Spider-Man games that came out in the PlayStation. Funny enough, these two games that I got were from the PS4 format. One had the PS5 upgrade available, which was the Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is just a random and special video, so this is like literally a nerd out type of video. Many more contents like this, because this is something that I've always been planning to do anyway. Wholeheartedly say that ever since when I played the Spider-Man that came out back in 2018, so much fun playing a Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2 from 2004, the PS2 version. I mean, I did play a lot of Spider-Man games. I mean, I didn't own, unfortunately, Ultimate Spider-Man, where you could play Spider-Man and Venom, which was a pretty cool game. I actually never played Shattered Dimensions, surprisingly enough. The most underrated games, Spider-Man games, and I think some people are aware of this game, Web of Shadows. That game was so badass, so sick. Really had a dark turn at a time before Shattered Dimensions and all that. Even though Shattered Dimensions was literally Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and you played technically like 3 or 4 Spider-Mans if I remember. But Web of Shadows is one of those games that I actually enjoyed playing. When I played this game, Spider-Man, to begin with, I was fully ecstatic. It really gave me so much nostalgia on, playing the past Spider-Man games, including the way old Spider-Man where he was animated like a PC, right? I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It had the Spider-Man font, like the cartoon back in the Fox Kids days. So like I remember that was the first Spider-Man game that I played, and then it was the Spider-Man that came out in 2002, where Tobey Maguire voiced in, which was pretty interesting at the time. Like literally, this game really reminded me so much of Spider-Man 2, the game, and at the test of that time, and still I really prefer that game as one of the greatest Spider-Man games of all time. But what really takes the mantle for now, as of this moment, I say this game overtakes Spider-Man 2. The many skins, the many type of levels, the tacticals, everything about this game in general was so fire. And the story is what really had the gravitas of, like, you felt like you were Peter Parker. You felt for Peter. You felt for each characters too. Like Mary Jane was pretty understandable, pretty sincere. Aunt May, as always, has an important role to Peter's life. And then Miles right there, not just being a cameo or a side character, no, he also has a purpose. And then you also have the villains, just like Dr. Octopus or Electro or Rhino, and then all these villains, especially Mr. Negative from this game, they mark it as Mr. Negative being the main bad guy, right towards almost 25 or 20 minutes to the end of the game. Dr. Octopus was actually the bad guy and the master puppet of it all. So I thought that was a pretty cool twist. But the fact that they also humanize Otto Octavius at the same time, which they probably might do for the Lizard, Dr. Kirk Connors, in the next game, because that's what the Spider-Man games does so well, is have flaws, but they're meaningful. You have a story that you really follow up, and it's really like you're playing a movie, or like you're watching a movie at the same time, which is pretty insane, but in a very great way. My review about this game, Spider-Man Miles Morales. The most positive part about this game in general, Miles Morales is so fun to play with. The way he, turns invincible, and then his electricity power, the way he controls it. He is so interesting of a Spider-Man still to this day. I mean, he is one of the most powerful Spider-Man in the universe, and he's pretty unique. And of course, the whole red and black costume is what really stands out, and he's a very, very dope character. He has a lot of growth. He actually does have a lot of growth. Again, a better purpose, especially for a spin-off game. The weakest link about this game, though, is the story itself of, the main antagonist was, his best friend. And I didn't really like her character as much, which she is the Tinkerer. I think that was her name, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a long time since I played these games, to be honest with you. So I just let you guys know, I remember bits and pieces. But for the most part, I did remember the story was not, it wasn't great. It wasn't too memorable. It was pretty forgettable, but what really makes it worth it is, again, Miles' friend, the guy in the chair himself, right, Ned, and then also his mother. His mother is literally the heart and soul of his characterization as well. And Peter, often comes out in the game, so in that phase, even Peter himself still is the teacher and the mentor that Miles really needs, especially after what happened to his father in this game. The difference between these games are obviously the skills and the challenges. This one has more than this, but I did remember having a hard time doing challenges of this game more than this, because this is more of a spin-off game than if anything it's like literally Spider-Man 1.5. literally. This is why Spider-Man 2 is gonna be probably in my reign up there. I know it's gonna be too soon to say right now. Maybe in the later months, I probably will say that Spider-Man 2 is probably the best Spider-Man game of all time. Like, we'll see about that, especially when it comes to the story, because if it really overtakes this, man, just imagine when they do the third one. Because I feel like, I mean, we regardless, wherever the second one will end, I know they're gonna make a third one for sure. My theory, and I'm telling you guys right now, my theory is I think they might introduce Gwen Stacy in here, and you could play as Spider-Gwen in the third one. Three spider people that you can play. That would be dope. I think that would be very awesome. That would be very cool. I know I'm reading it way too much, but I think that would be a interesting take, and pretty, again, a unique way for a Spider-Man game. Just talking about these two games, man, like it just brings me back of all the past Spider-Man games that I used to have fun playing with, and then I always see clips in there on YouTube. Obviously when you finish a game, it does get repetitive. You always still have fun, especially when you're dealing with the story. But for the most part, costumes on these two games for these two characters, absolutely dope. The fact that you have different skill set from costume in this game was really interesting and really, really cool. I kind of hope that they did it with him, with Miles, just because of all the different costumes that he had, but he still had the same powers and the same abilities. So I have a feeling they probably fixed that issue, but I'm pretty sure they did. So, and Insomniac and Sony are pretty much aware of that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about these two games and how I truly felt after all these years, because 2018 was a very interesting year for Spider-Man. This game came out at the same year as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, so that was a pretty dope year if you ask me, especially after Infinity War, right? And then way after if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man Homecoming, because it came out in 2017. And then this game here, Miles Morales, it came out like around 2020 during the pandemic. But it was dope. The fact that it also says PS5 upgrade available. At the time, I barely got the PS5. And I was like, man, I was so mesmerized by the graphics and everything. I mean, everything about it, you know, graphics, story, just 10 out of 10. Like literally, it's top notch. The only difference is one game is better than the other, respectfully so. But both characters are so subpar and so beloved that you know that they're gonna make a huge difference in the second one, and I really can't wait. Which is your favorite Spider-Man game, or what's your favorite Spider-Man game of all time? I really want to know. Did you begin from the very beginning, or from the Tobey Maguire era, or even the Ultimate Spider-Man, Shattered Dimensions, Web of Shadows? Please let me know, and let me know what you're really looking forward to in this sequel coming up. Now, so with that, this has been a nerd kind of Ed 93 cast type of video, something that I don't really always do, but I probably will continuously and try to do as much as possible. But yeah, Eddie out for now. Thank you all so much for the love. Till next time, and more Spider-Man content and more in content as usual. I've been having so much fun doing these videos for you guys, and let's keep going from here. Much love. Thank you all. Yeah, can't wait. Whew. Man.